It floated in open space like a carved moon, wide and bright, surrounded by silent stars. Inside, the ceiling curved high above, filled with soft light and moving symbols from hundreds of worlds. Every seat was made for power. Every platform was shaped to show status. Today, the hall was full. Delegates from dozens of advanced species filled the chamber. Some were tall and scaled. Others floated in personal gravity fields. Many wore advanced armor that shone with clean lines and perfect surfaces. Their gear showed wealth, science, and long histories of victory. This was a hall where weakness was noticed instantly. That was why the laughter began the moment the human arrived. He entered alone through the main gate, walking at a steady pace. His boots made a dull sound against the polished floor. His armor was old, not ancient, but clearly worn. Plates were scratched and cracked. Some parts were darker than others, replaced long ago. Thin repair lines showed where metal had been fused back together. It was clear to everyone that this armor had seen too much. Whispers spread quickly. Is that rust? Is this a joke? That species survived space with that? Some delegates leaned forward, curious. Others shook their heads. A few allowed themselves quiet laughter. The human did not react. He walked to the center platform and stopped. His helmet faced forward. His posture was straight, calm, controlled. He did not bow. He did not raise his voice. He simply waited. At the highest seat sat the Speaker of the Assembly, a being of long age and heavy presence. Its voice carried easily through the hall. "Human representative," the Speaker said. "State your name and purpose." The human raised his head slightly. "My name is Elias Kerr," he said. His voice was steady, not loud, not weak. "I speak for the Terran Union. I am here because we were invited." A pause followed. Some delegates exchanged looks. Others studied him more closely now. The speaker's eyes moved over the damaged armor. "You arrive wearing equipment that appears incomplete," the speaker said carefully. "Is this the best your people can offer?" This time, the laughter was louder. Elias did not answer immediately. He seemed to think for a moment, then spoke. "This armor is not our best," he said. "It is mine." That answer only made things worse. A tall delegate covered in smooth silver plating leaned toward his neighbor. "They send a relic," he said. "Perhaps they believe this hall is a museum." "Asked. Pleaser. Asked. Asked." Another voice called out from the lower seats. "Did your species lose its industry?" More laughter followed. Elias remained still. The speaker raised one limb, and the hall quieted again. "You stand before the assembly to request recognition," the speaker said. "Yet your appearance suggests poverty, not readiness. Explain this." Elias looked up at the speaker. "This armor has protected me for 23 years, he said. "It has failed many times. Each time, it was repaired." He lifted one arm slightly, showing a deep crack along the plating. "This fracture came from a pressure collapse during a colony evacuation," he continued. "We fixed it. We kept moving." Some of the laughter faded, replaced by silence. Still, doubt remained. A delegate from a high-ranking military species leaned forward. "You admit your equipment is damaged," the delegate said. "Why not replace it? Why appear before us like this?" Elias answered without hesitation. "Because this armor tells the truth," he said. The hall grew quieter. He took a slow breath. "My people were not born into comfort," Elias said. "We did not inherit peaceful stars. We survived disasters before we ever left our homeworld." The speaker watched closely now. "You are saying suffering is your qualification?" the speaker asked. "No," Elias replied. "Endurance is." The word echoed softly through the chamber. Some delegates shifted in their seats. Others folded their limbs or adjusted their displays. The speaker paused, then nodded once. "Continue," it said. Elias raised his hand slightly, palms open. "When humans reached the stars, we did not bring perfection," he said. "We brought repair tools." This earned a few quiet reactions. "Our ships were patched," Elias continued. "Our stations were rebuilt. Our armor was reused. We learned that survival is not about looking strong. It is about staying alive. A delegate from the upper tiers spoke sharply. Many species survive hardship, the delegate said. That does not make you unique. Elias turned his helmet slightly toward the voice. You are correct, he said. Suffering alone means nothing. He paused. What matters is what you do after it. The hall fell fully silent now. Elias reached up slowly toward the side of his helmet. Several delegates stiffened, unsure of his intent. This armor, he said, has protected me through vacuum breaches, radiation storms, and planetary collapse. His fingers found the first release seal. And it has also failed me. A soft mechanical click echoed through the chamber. Gasps rippled across the hall. The speaker leaned forward. Human, it said. What are you doing? 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 Away. Irad. What are you doing? Irad. Irad and Irad. Irad and Irad. Irad and I. Elias did not stop. I am correcting a misunderstanding, he replied. The helmet came loose. He lifted it free and held it under one arm. For the first time, the assembly saw his face. It was human. Unmistakably so. His skin was pale with faint marks of age. His eyes were focused, alert, and calm. A thin scar crossed his temple. Old and healed. He did not look angry. He looked patient. Whispers spread again, but they were different now. He is unarmed. Is this permitted? Elias set the helmet gently at his feet. You judge my people by what we wear, he said. So I will show you what we are without it. His hands moved to the upper chest plate. The armor seals hissed softly. The speaker rose slightly from its seat. Elias Kerr, it said. This is highly irregular. Elias met its gaze. So was our survival, he said. The chest plate separated and lowered, revealing the undersuit beneath. It was simple, functional, and worn. Sensors across the hall began adjusting automatically. Numbers and symbols flickered on hidden displays. Several delegates stiffened as readings appeared before them. One whispered, "Those levels." Another said, "That body has adapted." Elias continued speaking. "My body carries the cost of survival," he said. He paused, then added quietly, "And loss." No one laughed now. A military delegate spoke again, but his tone had changed. "You present yourself without protection," he said. "Are you not afraid?" See. Elias shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "Because fear did not save us. Work did." He unclasped another section of armor, revealing reinforced tissue along his shoulder. It was not elegant. It was not clean, but it was strong. The hall was completely silent. Even the speaker said nothing. Elias looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of beings far larger, older, and more advanced than himself. "This armor broke," he said. "I did not." He took one step forward, unarmored, standing alone in the center of the greatest hall in the galaxy, and for the first time since he arrived, no one looked down on him. The silence was heavy, not with mockery, but with attention. It stretched, long and heavy, like a held breath. Elias Kerr stood at the center platform, with his broken armor lying at his feet. The bright lights of the hall reflected off bare metal and exposed fabric. Without the armor, he looked smaller. Yet somehow, the space around him felt tighter. The speaker of the assembly watched him closely. "All human representatives before you," the speaker said slowly, "stood behind technology. You stand without it." Elias nodded once. "Technology can be copied," he said. "Endurance cannot." Soft murmurs moved through the hall. Many delegates had turned off their status displays. Others leaned forward, focusing on him alone. A delegate from a data-focused species activated a projection. "Assembly sensors have recorded unusual readings," the delegate said. "The human body shows adaptation patterns beyond expected norms." Elias did not interrupt. The delegate continued, sounding confused. "Bone density increased. Muscle fiber altered. Neural response speed elevated. These changes are not artificial." The projection flickered. They are the result of repeated extreme conditions. A low sound moved through the hall. Something between surprise and concern. The speaker raised a limb again. Human Elias Kerr, it said. Explain how this occurred. Elias took a slow breath. It was not planned, he said. It was necessary. He stepped slightly away from the armor, leaving it clearly behind him. When humanity first expanded beyond our home system, Elias began, we believed preparation was enough. Images appeared around the hall, drawn from human records. Early ships, fragile stations, small settlements clinging to harsh worlds. We were wrong, Elias said. The images shifted. A colony under heavy storms. A station torn open by debris. A ship drifting with failing systems. The universe did not care about our plans, he said. It tested us instead. The hall remained silent. Elias turned slowly, addressing the delegates on all sides. We lost worlds, he said. We lost people. Sometimes we lost hope. The word carried weight. But we learned, Elias continued. Every loss taught us something new. The speaker studied the images. Other species abandoned expansion after similar failures, it said. Why did humanity continue? Elias answered without hesitation. Because stopping would have meant ending, he said. The images changed again. Humans repairing ships in vacuum suits. Engineers sealing hulls by hand. Civilians working together in damaged habitats. We repaired what we could, Elias said. And when we could not repair it, we adapted. A delegate from a high-gravity species spoke. Adaptation takes generations, the delegate said. Your species expanded too quickly. Elias nodded. Yes, he said. It did. He raised his arm slightly, showing the reinforced tissue again. Some adaptations happened faster than expected, he said. Because failure demanded it. The data delegate interrupted again. These changes caused pain, it said. Long-term strain, physical cost. Yes, Elias replied simply. The word echoed. Another delegate spoke, its voice softer than before. Why accept such damage? It asked. Why not withdraw? Elias looked toward that voice. Because there were people still alive, he said, waiting. The images shifted again. A rescue operation in a collapsing station. Humans carrying others through smoke-filled corridors. Ships entering unstable space to extract survivors. We learned that survival is shared, Elias said. If one of us remains, we return. The speaker leaned back slightly. This philosophy has consequences, it said. Elias met its gaze. We understand risk, he said. We live with it. He paused. And we choose it. The hall felt different now. Where once there had been judgment, there was calculation. Where there had been laughter, there was caution. A military commander from a dominant species finally spoke again. You present endurance as strength, the commander said. But endurance alone does not win conflicts. Elias nodded. That is true, he said. He gestured toward the armor on the floor. This armor is not a weapon, he said. It is a record. The commander tilted its head. A record of what? It asked. Elias answered quietly. Of battles we survived when we should not have. The hall's lighting dimmed slightly as another projection appeared. Human forces standing against overwhelming odds. Not victories, but holds. Delays. Survival against pressure. We do not always win, Elias said. But we do not disappear. The speaker looked at the images for a long time. You imply that humanity becomes stronger through repeated hardship, it said. Yes, Elias said. But not alone. He turned again, addressing the entire chamber. We learned that strength is not individual, he said. It is shared effort. The images shifted to scenes of cooperation. Engineers, medics, pilots, civilians. When armor fails, others step in, Elias said. When bodies fail, others carry them. The hall felt very quiet now. A delegate who had laughed earlier lowered its gaze. You present yourself as unarmed, the delegate said. Yet you speak with confidence. Elias smiled faintly. I am not unarmed, he said. He tapped his chest lightly. I carry my people. That answer spread through the chamber like a shockwave. The speaker's voice softened. You removed your armor to show resilience, it said. What do you intend to show next? Elias looked down at the remaining pieces still attached to him. That resilience has limits, he said. Carefully, slowly, he removed another plate. The sensors reacted again. More data appeared. The data delegate spoke urgently now. These readings. The human nervous system shows repeated stress tolerance training beyond military norms. Elias nodded. Civilian life trained us, he said. The speaker tilted its head. Explain. Elias took another breath. Our disasters did not ask for soldiers only, he said. They took everyone. The images changed again. Civilians working during evacuations. Children helping organize supplies. Elders guiding shelters. When survival becomes daily life, Elias said, everyone learns. A deep stillness filled the hall. The speaker rose fully from its seat. You present humanity not as conquerors, it said, but as survivors. Elias looked up. Yes, he said. The speaker considered this. And what happens, it asked, when survivors are threatened again? Elias did not raise his voice. We stand, he said. He removed the final upper plate of armor and placed it beside the others. I am standing now, he said. The hall felt smaller. Delegates realized something important then. The armor had not been protection. It had been restraint. A quiet realization passed from seat to seat. This human was not showing weakness. He was showing control. The speaker spoke again, slowly. You have changed the tone of this assembly, it said. What do you seek in return? Elias looked around one last time. Understanding, he said, and space to exist. He paused. And if needed, he added, the chance to prove ourselves again. No one laughed. No one spoke for several seconds. The broken armor lay silent on the floor. And every being in the hall now understood that it was not broken because it was weak. It was broken because it had been used until nothing more could be taken from it. The speaker finally spoke. The assembly will recess, it said. We will consider what has been shown. As the lights shifted and the chamber doors began to open, many delegates remained seated, watching the human, watching the armor, and quietly wondering what would happen if humanity ever stopped holding back. The great doors slid apart without sound, and light returned to the chamber in slow waves. Delegates took their seats again, but the mood was not the same as before. There was no laughter now, no careless movement. Every being inside the hall remembered what they had seen. At the center platform stood Elias Kerr. He was still without his armor. The broken plates remained where he had placed them, neat and calm, like pieces of a long story laid open for anyone willing to read. Elias stood straight, hands relaxed at his sides, his face steady. He did not look tired. He looked ready. The speaker of the assembly returned to its high seat. Its presence filled the room, but even it felt different now. Less distant, more thoughtful. The assembly has considered your presentation, the speaker said. Every sound in the hall faded. Elias did not move. You arrived as a subject of judgment, the speaker continued. You now stand as a question. A low murmur passed through the delegates. The speaker raised one limb, and the hall quieted again. Human Elias Kerr, it said. Your people seek recognition. Yet recognition brings responsibility. Quote. 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 Elias nodded once. We understand, he said. A delegate from a long-lived species spoke next. Your endurance is clear, the delegate said. But endurance alone does not create stability. What does humanity offer the greater community? Elias took a moment before answering. He looked around the hall, not as someone searching for approval, but as someone choosing honesty. We offer reliability, he said. Several delegates tilted their heads. Explain, the speaker said. When humans commit, Elias said, we stay. Images appeared again around the chamber. Human ships escorting damaged vessels, crews repairing stations that did not belong to them, aid convoys arriving in unstable regions. We do not arrive, help once, and leave, Elias said. We remain until the problem is solved, or we cannot continue. A delegate spoke quietly. At what cost? Elias met the delegate's gaze. At a cost we accept, he said. The hall absorbed this. Another delegate, one known for strict calculation, activated a projection. Human expansion shows repeated engagement in high-risk zones, it said. Statistical models suggest unsustainable loss. Elias nodded. Our models said the same, he replied. The delegate paused. And yet your species persists. Yes, Elias said. Because we change. The speaker leaned forward slightly. You speak often of adaptation, it said. But adaptation has limits. Elias agreed. Yes, he said. That is why we adapt together. The images shifted again. Humans working with other species. Joint crews. Shared tools. Shared plans. We do not replace others, Elias said. We support them. The speaker observed this carefully. You are not seeking dominance, it said. No, Elias said. We are seeking belonging. That word settled deep into the hall. The speaker remained silent for several long moments. Then it spoke again. There is concern, it said, that a species capable of such endurance may become dangerous if threatened. Elias did not deny it. We can be, he said. The hall stiffened. But that is not our wish, Elias added calmly. We do not look for conflict. We look for space to live, build, and repair. The speaker's eyes narrowed slightly. And if that space is denied? It asked. Elias answered without raising his voice. Then we endure, he said. As we always have. The simplicity of the answer carried weight. A senior delegate, one who had laughed earlier, stood slowly. When you entered this hall, the delegate said, we judged your armor. It paused. We were wrong. The delegate bowed its head slightly. We mistook wear for weakness. It continued. We mistook repair for failure. Elias said nothing. The speaker watched this exchange closely. Human Elias Kerr, it said. Your armor remains on the floor. Yes, Elias replied. Do you intend to wear it again? The speaker asked. Elias looked down at the broken pieces. Yes, he said. Some delegates looked surprised. Why? One asked. Because it still works, Elias said. And because it reminds me of who I am. He knelt slowly and picked up the helmet. He did not put it on yet. This armor is not a symbol of power, he said. It is a reminder of responsibility. He stood again. I will wear it, he said. When the time is right. The speaker nodded once. The assembly must decide, it said. Not only on recognition, but on trust. The hall grew still again. One by one, delegates activated their voting systems. Lights appeared above the chamber, each color representing a choice. Elias waited. He did not watch the lights. He watched the faces. Some were uncertain, some thoughtful, some respectful. The lights changed slowly, one by one. The speaker observed the results. Then it spoke. The assembly recognizes humanity, it said, as a resilient and responsible species. A low sound moved through the hall. Elias closed his eyes for a brief moment. The Terran Union is granted standing, the speaker continued. Not as conquerors, not as dependents. It paused. But as contributors. The silence that followed was different now. It was warm. The speaker addressed the hall. Let it be recorded, it said, that today we judged not appearance, but substance. The speaker turned its gaze back to Elias. Human Elias Kerr, it said, you may conclude. Elias nodded. He picked up the remaining armor pieces and held them carefully. I thank the assembly, he said, not for approval, but for listening. He placed the helmet under his arm. My people will not forget this moment, he said. We will honor it by continuing to endure. He turned toward the exit. As he walked, something unexpected happened. One delegate stood, then another, then another. Slowly, quietly, the entire hall rose. Not in fear, in respect. Elias paused at the doorway. He looked back once. The armor in his hands was heavy, but it felt lighter than before. He left the hall without haste. Behind him, the assembly remained standing long after the doors closed. They would speak of this day for generations, not of weapons, not of power, but of a human who entered wearing broken armor, and left having shown that what truly mattered had never been the armor at all. It had been the will inside it.